Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready to take a bite out of the competition? Are you looking for ideas to make your business better? Welcome to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet,
sponsored by Apple Capital Group.
At the core of every successful business, you'll find people making a difference. And with each episode of the Core Business Show, we talk with those people, examine those ideas, and explore the strategies that make them special. Now, the host of the Core Business Show, Tim Jacquet.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Core Business Show. I'm Tim Jacquet, your host. Today I have a pleasure of having Dr. Theresa Dale. She's going to talk about her book, Revitalizing Your Hormones. If you'd like to join the conversation, feel free to go ahead and email us at info@thecorebusinessshow, or you can dial in at 347-324-3440. We're going to take a break for a second from a word from my sponsor. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Listen to the Core Business Show.
You're listening to the Core Business Show, sponsored by Apple Capital Group. Apple Capital Group in Jacksonville, Florida, is a commercial lender that specializes in asset-based loans, equipment leasing and financing, invoice financing, commercial real estate loans, and asset-based financing in the U.S. and Canada. Apple Capital Group is a direct lender that lends on their private equity investment portfolio. 90% of most loans are decided within 2 hours, and vendor funding within 24 hours after documents are completed, with a one-page application. No slow no's, just a quick decision and a fast yes. To get more information about lending from Apple Capital Group, call 866-611-7457. That's 866-611-7457 to speak with one of our loan specialists. Or visit us right now at applecapitalgroup.com. Welcome back to the Core. Once again, here's Tim Jacquet.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Dr. Dale, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you today.
I guess to begin with, our listeners really like to hear personal stories, how a lot of authors come up with their books, and just the background of themselves versus reading a bio. So if you don't mind, just tell us about yourself so we can get to know you, and then we'll segue into your book.
Great. Well, all speakers love to talk about themselves. But I'm a health provider, and I've always, done a lot to heal my body, and people always want to know what I did to deserve this. What have I done to heal my body? When I was 22, I was diagnosed with a uterine tumor, and I had a very interesting childhood whereby I had a mother that had 9 unnecessary surgeries, where she had hysterectomy, gallbladder removed, her coccyx bone was sawed off. So she had a goiter, she had heart disease, high blood pressure, plastic kidney, part of a plastic kidney, and I grew up watching all of this. Mm-hmm. And then when I was 22, I was diagnosed with a uterine tumor, and I knew that a lot of the emotional issues that my mother had and what was in my family, what people were suffering with in my family, that genetically I had that. And so I decided at that moment to stop the cycle and to heal myself and figure it out. I knew nothing about it. No one supported me. I didn't use a nutritionist. I just told the doctor that surgery was not an option and I would fix it because something in me created it. And that's what most people don't do, is they victimize themselves, where they think they're a victim and they think that somebody did this to them. It's basically we create our own issues through suppressing our emotions, bad, unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy diet, and so our perceptions are key. And so I decided that I would change these things, which I did, and in 6 months the tumor was gone. And at that moment in my life was when I knew what I would be doing for the rest of my life, which was helping people change their lives, save their lives, teaching them, empowering them, and, offering them real tools that work. So then I started going to school. I studied in Germany for 9 years in naturopathy, real naturopathic medicine. Drugs are not an option and not used in real naturopathy ever.
Wow.
Any kind of a medication is contraindicated. So, and then after that, I started practicing, and I've been practicing for 30 years. I own the California College of Natural Medicine, and I train doctors, providers full-time, and all kinds of health providers, whether they be a chiropractor, medical doctor, or a nutritionist, acupuncturist, and I train them in methods, healing methods that I have created, bioresonance medicine. And for consumers or your listeners, I've created programs for them as well, and wellness retreats where they could come to a wellness retreat and learn how to heal their body, mind-body connection, and learn how to eat and how to prepare food and make it simple so that your body gets nurtured from the inside out.
When you had your studies in Germany, kind of give us a snapshot on part of that process. We actually studied there that is nothing, you can't use medication at all with the practice. Kind of give us a scenario what is normally taking place through that process.
Yeah, it's not that you can't use it.
Okay.
It's that if you use it, you could hurt someone, because using medication can actually suppress the disease so that it comes back later. It's not that you can't use it. It's that naturopaths are trained in better, more effective ways to actually help cure the body rather than to suppress the disease. And so then I actually wrote my 2 books, Revitalize Your Hormones, Dr. Dale's 7 Steps to a Happier, Healthier, and Sexier You, and also in 1995 I wrote Transform Your Emotional DNA. Everybody has, because we're human, we have emotions. Some of them, we don't know how to deal with them. We don't want to just let it all hang out and tell everybody what we feel all the time, because we probably have no friends, right? So we have to learn how to deal with the emotions that we feel. Oftentimes we don't even know if they're real or not, or why we have them. So it's important to understand these things as, what these emotions mean. Is your perception of things the problem? So it's an important thing to help people to understand how their mind and body work together.
Talking about your book, Revitalizing Your Hormones, can you tell us what the steps, just a couple of them, about this particular therapy and revitalizing them?
Well, I think the first step is to get a saliva test to determine what your hormone levels are. And salivary tests, saliva tests, are 100% more accurate than blood testing, because you're testing different things. See, in saliva testing, you're testing the free, unbound hormones. And in blood testing, you're testing the bound hormones. So in blood testing, there's not enough hormones available to test, so your levels are going to be different. So everybody needs to get a saliva test, and you can do that on my website, wellnesscenter.net. And that's a little kit. You get it home. You follow the directions. You spit at different times of the day, and then you send it in to the lab, and they send a report to us that a lot of people wouldn't understand, so we make a custom program for every person.
I follow.
It explains to you what the levels mean, and if the levels are out of balance, it explains exactly what to do about it naturally. So using natural medicine.
Now, does it differ between men and women in this particular test? I know you mentioned that they're customized, but are there any major differences between the two?
Well, yeah, men have different hormones, and some of the hormones that women have, men have, but there's a whole different set of hormones that men have. So if there's a male doing a test, he would check the little box saying male, and then with those specimens, those saliva test specimens that you send in, all of the male tests would be run. And if you check off that you're a female, all of the female panel would be run. So it's completely different. The first thing I would do is get a saliva test to know the truth. And then I would also work, the next thing would be on detoxification, detoxifying the body from everything from heavy metals to pesticides that we pick up in our environment on food. And then also to change your diet, to offer through the diet each person through this program a customized list of what's good, what they need to eat, what they don't need to eat, and, why. I mean, there's a junk food we know is bad, but did we know that some foods may be grown with genetically modified seeds, which have a potential health risk? Did we, there's so many things to look at here.
Well, what are the most common problems, issues you normally see between men and women? You mentioned iron levels, some other issues. What are the most common things you see in general?
Well, there are different sets of hormones and different levels.
Okay.
And, in other words, you would have the hormone called androstenedione, and then another one called dihydrotestosterone and free testosterone, and then you'd also have estrone and estradiol in your body. And we measure all of those, including DHEA and all the cortisol levels, and insulin tests and immune tests. We test for candida and parasites and food intolerances. So it's a very thorough test. And for women, we would do all of their hormones. We would do the 3 estrogens, the estradiol, estriol, and estrone. We would test for 2 progesterones. Also, women have testosterone. That's what gets your libido going and making sure that you have a passion for your life. Testosterone is very important for not only for libido, but so that you have a passion for what you're doing in life, And then we have, of course, for both men and women, we test cortisol levels. So I think the key is to get the test, get it back, and follow the program, because we have great success. We even work with hospitals in their outpatient clinics to help the doctors evaluate each patient using this particular saliva test panel so we can see how their hormone levels are and detoxify them from the medications. You get very toxic from using medications, any kind.
Wow. You mentioned earlier regarding the mind and body. Is there certain things that we should refrain from for our mental sake as a food or drinks or something that really, really is not good for us mentally, and another thing is not really good for us physically?
Well, there's so many things that some of these things that are not good for you physically also are not good for you mentally. Like taking medications. If, you're on any kind of recreational drug, that is not good for you physically and can also mess up neurotransmitters in your brain depending upon what it is, And so any kind of medications and drugs are not good. Any kind. There's a way to do it naturally, and that's what people need to learn to be empowered. The other things that are not good for you physically or mentally is sugar. You eat white sugar, you get a high, and then you get a drop. And you can see that in someone's blood testing when they test their blood sugar. Okay, but eating white sugar is very, very, very bad. And lots of kids that get hyperactive because they're eating their junk food, Twinkies, I hate to say brand name, but all these things, And so we need to look at that. We need to look at the sugar intake, because carbohydrates also turn into sugar, and fruit is sugar. And so get people off of sugar, junk food, candies, and that sort of thing. And because that affects your mind. The next thing, of course, is your alcohol, which is a recreational drug, that can be very harmful, including, how many glasses of wine do you really need in a day, And then if you're looking at other things that are potentially harmful, we want to consider caffeine because it stresses out your adrenal glands. And your adrenal glands provide you with energy, and sometimes people have very low energy, so they drink caffeine, but that only makes it worse in the long run. So we need to learn how to heal our body. What is very healthy for you is having a protein drink in the morning, with vegetables in it, and maybe some powdered protein like hemp protein or pea protein, PEA, like from peas, you know. So they do make very good pea protein that has 25 grams per serving, and it tastes good. And you can put it right in a smoothie in the morning with green vegetables and maybe some watermelon, you know, and it tastes really great. Maybe a little bit of ginger. So if you just stay to eating mostly vegetarian and organic, that will make great changes in people's lives in a very short period of time. We see that all the time.
When it comes to meat is the biggest question. Should the person stay away from pork or red meat, or chicken is okay, or fish is okay? Anything to watch out from there, or you should just go all organic?
And, you know, what I do with my patients and when I train my doctors is we go, you know, we recommend to everyone all organic, and that's what they do, and to eliminate all meat if possible and all poultry if possible, to try, if someone is sick, ill, they want to get off of all animal products, including eggs, and to do a green diet, lots of vegetables, and if they want to have a baked potato, that's great, or, you know, a yam or things like that, they can have that. So, you know, for optimal wellness, you have to consider eating no animal products at all. And there is so many books about this. One of my favorite is the China Study. So it's called the China Study. And the China Study basically talks about a study, animal versus all vegan. And so everybody needs to read this, because eye disease can come from eating animal products. Wow. So you need to educate. Everybody needs to educate themselves, and there's books available that are really good that can help them. Okay. Lastly, what do you like to leave the audience with in a summary regarding your book? Regarding the Revitalize Your Hormones book, it's a book that will teach you what hormones are, what makes them function correctly, and what makes them be in a state of dysfunction. Also, it gives you a biological age test where you can test your real age to see exactly how young or old your body is. So, in other words, things like smoking go against that. You know, I mean, you're going to be older, your skin's going to be older, everything's going to be older, including your heart and lungs, if you're going to be doing things that are bad for your body. But it's good because people get a real idea, like a person who's in their 30s could have a biological age of 80 because they're so unhealthy. That means your organs are older than what they should be. In the book is also an entire section in the back on recipes, on food, on raw food versus cooked or steamed. It gives you a lot of information on how to stay healthy, hormones, and also it has an area on meditation that's, I think, very helpful, and a process that people can read about to work with your emotions. So there's a process in that book to work on your emotions, which is very important. And there's also a tooth chart in the book so that you can learn about how your teeth are related to your organs, and that each tooth is like a little organ, and that the meridians in your body, the acupuncture meridians, will be connected to a tooth. You know, liver meridian goes through one tooth, it goes right through the tooth. So learning to heal mind, body is very important. And I think my book contains so much information to help people, and I feel like people have said it's written in a very clear way so that they can really utilize the information. Wow. And we can find this book on any bookseller, on Amazon, Barnes & Noble? We can find it anywhere. Amazon has it, but also on my website. Okay. And my members of my Wellness Optimization Club, it's a private club, they get a 10% discount on products and on the book, or any of my books or reading material. And the website is? It's wellnesscenter.net. And if they want to reach out to you, the same location, Wellness Center? wellnesscenter.net, and if they wanted a phone number, it would be 800-219-1261. Okay. Okay, but they'll get a lot of information from my website.
Wow. Well, I just want to thank you for joining the show today. I really, really appreciate it. A lot of information. I guess I'm going to have to go read the book.
All right. All right. Well, it's so nice to speak with you, and I'm so pleased to be on your show and help all of your listeners.
Great. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Take care. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You're listening to The Core Business Show. I'm Tim Jacquet, your host. You can download this episode on our website. Our website is thecorebusinessshow.com. Thank you for joining the program, everybody. Have a great day. Take care.
Thank you for listening to The Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet. For more information about equipment financing and asset-based loans, visit our website, applecapitalgroup.com. That's applecapitalgroup.com. Or call us at 866-611-7457. We hope you'll join us for our next episode. And remember, you can always get to the core via iTunes. You'll find all our previous episodes there. And thanks again for listening to The Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet.